Suppose I'll be hearing more now that I know you've signed up.
Gotta purchase a car again, so what do I gotta get now? What a great choice. I have a choice between a Jaguar XJS or a Jaguar XJS. Decisions. Well, I guess I will have to pick that. And how much is this thing going to cost me? Oh, good lord, you're not serious about putting a livery on this thing, are you? Now, it is set up for modern standards. You saw, I'm sure, inside the car, through the rear windshield, the roll cage. You saw the Recaro racing seats through the front windshield when I first picked this. I know this is going to have a more
Drift
modern...
zones. Hook it in, flick the back end out, ride the handbrake all the way through the flags. This is what I live for.
Yeah, I'm not much of a drifter there. This is why I'm not much of a drifter. Because I don't have enough control in here. I'm a racer, not a drifter. Love that name, Stored Sneeze 435. So you just took over first place. Well earned, sir. Your name has earned you your first place position. And an NSX, no less. That's got to be engine swapped. There's no way an original NSX would be competitive in this race. There we go. Surging into the lead. Try to hang on to it as I try to hang on to the road. I was using that not too long ago. That's how you should take off from a... Listen to that, too. That's how you ought to take off from the starting line. I think we're in good shape. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Unreal from Unreal Gaming here with some more Forza Horizon 4. We're going to see if we can find ourselves something to do here now that it's autumn season. Maybe there's some challenges I might be willing to complete here. I actually, well, as a matter of fact, I actually won myself the Corvette C8 not too long ago, which you can see up in the top right corner of the screen. But since that car's already won and customized and all that stuff, let's see what else we have here. Everybody likes a wheel spin. That's definitely nice. Volkswagen Carmen Ghia. I'll consider it. Yellow biker. No, just clothing. Okay, you don't get a motorcycle out of it. Porsche 911 1990. That, I think, is going to be more up my alley. Let's go do that race and let's see what it's going to take to win. Start with the road racing series. So actually, should I do that or should I do the... yeah. Why not?
Welcome back, bro.
Why, thank you. What should I do for a car? You know what? If we're going to go with we're looking to win a Porsche, I should probably drive a Porsche over there in that spirit. I don't have anything quite that old. 95. I don't think I've actually upgraded this thing yet. You know what? Let's get in this. I don't think I've actually driven this car. Let's get in this. Let's try it out. Let's see how this is going to stack up versus the one that I'm eventually going to hopefully win. It's very nice to look at, but I'd also like to drive it. There's a beautiful sound. Hoping everybody's streaming experience today, or stream watching experience today, is going to be better than ever. Working with a newer video card, newer monitor with a better resolution, and a renewed sense of purpose. Hopefully that'll translate to the on-screen action. Frame rate in this game, while not streaming, has been absolutely phenomenal. Found myself maxing it out to the monitor's refresh rate of 144 Hz. Not sure quite what to expect this go around with Gamecaster doing its work, but Only one way to find out. That's part of the reason I got this video card, was to handle kind of the double duty that my computer's pulling here. Is I'm not using a second computer to stream at this time, doing everything off the one machine. I'm having this graphics card and this processor do absolutely everything. Render the game, render the stream, upload it to the internet for everybody to look at.
You have arrived at your destination.
Alright. That's a classic look. Classic shape. It's evolved slightly over the years, but this is unmistakably a 911 when you look at it. And I like it.
Just remember, keep your eyes on the road. You can admire the autumn views after you finish this championship.
Well, if you insist. I don't know what Super 7 is. Oh, okay, so what do we have here? 815 and 811. Ooh, tempting. That's really tempting, because I like the XJ. The F50 is a little bit better. Man, that's really tough. I'm going to try the XJ. I'm going to try it just to drive something a little bit different for a change, because I love the Ferrari F50 and I love Ferraris in general. I got to try something different here. So I'm going to see if the XJ will do the job here. XJ220 is a fabled car. Look at the competition. CLK GTR right next to me. Let's see what else we have. McLaren F1. Another XJ220. It looks like a 355 up ahead. Porsche. I'll try and concentrate on the race. This is some stiff competition. You guys are going to have to cross your fingers for me. As if you want me to win. I'm sure some of you are crossing your fingers hoping I face plant into the closest wall, which I very well may do. See? Right there. Doesn't take long at all. XJ220 in front of me, struggling for grip. What on earth is this thing in front of me? Something that probably doesn't belong in this race, but I bet you it has a killer engine swap. Ooh, man, that was rough. Alright. Looks like the front two cars are both CLK GTRs. Let's see if I can make it past them. Beautiful engine sound. And of course, accompanied by the beautiful visuals of the fall season. Probably my favorite time to race in this game. Summer being a close second. Tempted to just put the hammer down the entire way, but I'm going to careen into a wall if I do that. Spent quite a bit of time away from this game, messing around with MMOs while recuperating from a unfortunate work-related injury along with some breathing trouble in the form of some reactive airway disease, some bronchitis. Still dealing with it now, but feeling quite a bit better than I was beforehand. So hopefully things are going to be returning to normal. I'm already back at work, and I plan on making a full comeback to streaming, with today kicking that off. There we go. A solid victory with the XJ220. Hopefully I can keep that going. What is the Jarama S72? That must have been that weird vehicle I couldn't identify. Yep. I have no idea what that car is. I'm going to have to look that up later. Alright. Now that that's done, we're going to go find our next race here. Where are we? I think... Yep, there's one. Others even further off. You know, if only the pandemic didn't have to harm anybody, it would be the perfect time, perfect excuse for you to get out in your car for a drive and just enjoy the whole experience. The scenery, the sensation the car gives you, the speed, provided you're doing it in a safe and legal fashion. this would be the perfect time for it, but unfortunately the pandemic we're going through is causing a lot of heartache and misery for those of us out there who have to deal with it firsthand, either if we have friends and family affected by it, or if we're healthcare workers like myself who are battling it face to face. Oh! And hopefully not crashing our vehicles while doing it. We have to try and take in the pleasures where we can. Unfortunately, this being the time of year that it is in the real world, coming up on the end of January, this is not a great time for driving. Having some nasty winter weather. Maybe if I had one of the cool 4x4s that they have in this game, that would be one thing, but not in your average sedan. So all I can do is hang in there and look forward to better times for a real drive. And in the meantime, I'm going to have to replace that real drive with Forza. But what a game to fill the void with. Forza Horizon 4, one of my all-time favorite driving games. Hopefully I can get some footage in here of Forza 7, Forza Motorsport 7 I should say. And if the rumors are to be believed...
At your destination.
Thank you. If the rumors are to be believed, we may be looking at a Forza Horizon 5 announcement this year, maybe even for release this year. That would be wonderful if so, but it hasn't been announced yet, so can't count on it. Oh, you know what? I did not know that I could go ahead and pick the other car. That's kind of cool. Pardon me. It's very late. I think it's sometime... I honestly don't even know. I think it's sometime around 1 a.m., give or take. I'm just going to do this stream for about an hour and call it an evening at that point. Alright, let's start up with the race again. Get the same entrance. A little bit different. Ford GT. I don't know what kind of Ferrari that is. Older model. Beautiful, whatever it is. Struggling to find grip. I like this course so far, though. This is nice. XJ220 really trying to bite down into the ground and stick to it. It's tough, though. Feeling some slipping here and there. We have that Jarma, or whatever that kind of car is up ahead again. I think that's what that model is yet again. Different color. And we get the two CLK GTRs up in the front. Out of the way. Is that a Lancia, perhaps? I have no idea what that is. I'll take a look when we get to the finishing line and watch for cars. Oh, that's a Porsche. Oh, I thought both of those were CLK GTRs. Okay. Just the front runner then. There we go. Using that fantastic arcadey handling that this game has to catch up to and surpass the lead car. A little bit of lag there. I don't know if anybody else saw that. Slight stutter. Frame rate's holding solid though. I'm actually working with quite a video card upgrade. Was using a GeForce 1070 for quite some time, which is getting the job done for a few years. We saw the release of the 2000 series cards, 2070, 2080, etc., 2080 Ti. Great lineup, introducing ray tracing technology for the first time. But there was word very shortly after, quite frankly, of, whoa, that's bad. A much better architecture on the way, which would possibly be in the form of a 3080 and 3090, and lo and behold, those cards kinda came out, and I say kind of because the cards were manufactured to a certain degree, but not anywhere near enough to meet the whole supply and demand quota there. So unfortunately, a lot of people don't have those cards. Those of us that do have them, in a lot of cases, have had to pay ridiculous markups. Part of that's due to scalping, part of that's due to shortage, and unfortunately, let's see what that was. Yeah, it was the Jarama, whatever you call it. Unfortunately, part of that has also been due to a new tax introduced by our last president that introduces, I believe, up to a 25% markup to a lot of Chinese electronics. 25% tax, and introducing a pretty significant markup for the cards, so now cards that were going for $800 are going for, double that in some cases, sometimes more, depending on where you look. Cards that were going for $1,500 are going for $2,000 and upwards. And I'm no exclusion to that unfortunate circumstance. I did have to pay through the nose. What a great prize. 110,000 credits. Block Party T. Block Party T, easy. Unfortunately, was no exception to that. I had to pay some nasty markup to get the card that I have, but what a card. Performance is great, but it takes two to tango, and beyond just having a great card, you also have to have games that can take advantage of those great cards. Forza scales very well, and will definitely take advantage of the latest and greatest hardware, give you good frame rates with good details. But I've yet to test it with my full suite of games on my PC, if you will. I gotta say, though, I am fairly disappointed in its performance with Cyberpunk 2077, the Voldemort of video games right now, the one whose name shall not be spoken, as well as Guild Wars 2, I'm afraid to say. I was playing that earlier and was having a great time with it earlier, too, but unfortunately, the performance... Whoops.
You have arrived at your destination.
Wasn't looking at the mini-map. The performance definitely leaves something left to be desired, but knowing computer hardware as I do not blame the GeForce 3090 for giving abysmal frame rates in some portions of Guild Wars 2. Unfortunately, that's got a lot to do with the way the game was built and optimized, and not taking full advantage of the 8-core, 16-thread processor that I have, or the 3090 that I've just installed. You can easily get some frame rates below the playable mark of 30 frames per second if you have enough characters or enough stuff going on. So it's disappointing, but I'm not going to blame the video card, and I'm going to put it through a number of different tests and real-world applications of video games and see how it performs and report back. Hopefully I'll have an entertaining video about the card up on YouTube in the coming days. This is the final race. Gotta take this one to do the clean sweep. Get that first place victory and earn that 1990 Porsche that was promised as a prize. I'm surprised not seeing the usual lineup in the front, although we have a car up ahead that's got a monstrous lead over everybody else. Mostly the case with street races, but seems to be the case also with the circuits. And it looks like the CLK GTR. Who would have thunk it? I don't know where that Porsche went. That Porsche Le Mans style car that was usually taking up the first or second place slot is not here. Instead, the Ford GT seems to be taking the spot instead. I can't focus on that, I gotta focus on the car. Gotta focus on the car in front. Actually, I had a clean pass on that one, I'm surprised at myself. CLK GTR, not quite on my ass, but giving me some pressure. Gotta try to avoid mistakes like that one I just made, if I want to stay in front. And I need to stay in front, otherwise I'm doing this all over again, which I really do not want to do. I love racing, but I want to do some different races. Change things up. And of course, left wondering how the Ferrari F50 that I could have chosen would have performed on this set of races that we have here. I'm sure it would have done a great job, and I love Ferraris. I love the F50, but it's easy to get Ferrari'd out with how many cars that they make and how many good cars they make, quite frankly. I wanted to do something different, and that's why I picked the XJ220s. It's a very different kind of supercar. It's a very different kind of supercar. It's a very niche supercar, limited production supercar, rare supercar. Looks like I did the clean sweep, so let's take a look at that Porsche. Pretty. Very pretty. And I can remember when the XG220 was still a big deal, reviewing it in magazines like Road and Track or whatnot. I remember kind of like a supercar shootout they did involving the XG220, and I think there was a rough Porsche 911, which was a company that made their own cars with, I believe, V8 engines, but they used Porsche bodies. So it was a different car and everything, but body style, really. But and I can't remember what the other car they used was. I really wish I could remember what the other car was, but they had a number of different tests, and as beautiful as the XJ220 looked, it was modeled just like this, same color, I believe, and everything. As beautiful as a car that it was, and fast as a car that it was, it unfortunately overheated quite a bit, according to the writer of those articles. So unfortunately, as cool of an icon as it was, it's there's a few reasons why it was a limited production car. There wasn't a large demand for it. There was a little bit of a recession going on at the time of release. It's very expensive, and as some British cars had a tendency to be, it was in some cases unreliable. I believe the XJ220 was actually crafted to have a V12 put in the car, but they only wound up putting a V6 in there. Now granted, it was twin turbocharged V6 and the performance is outstanding, but this car actually could have been more than it already is, which is a lot. But I admired them for the design, the lofty aspirations they had. It still looks extremely futuristic today, aside from those ridiculous 1980s wheels. Looks very futuristic even by today's standards, makes a great noise, looks really good, and drove pretty nice. I was pretty happy with its performance in the racing there, but what I want to do is see if I can have the car delivered to me, perhaps. Well, I'm going to have to go to the festival, yeah. Alright, well, you know what, we'll go to the festival and we'll get the Porsche there and see what I can do. Because I'm curious. P for Porsche. P for PLP50. We're going to try this. We're going to see how this is. And I'm probably going to see if I can maybe pick up one or two more challenges here tonight. That's classic. Very classic look. And you know, this really... you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Singer Porsche 911s you can get. Those custom-built Porsches you get out of California that take a retro Porsche but modernize it. And you know what? You know why it reminds me of a Singer? Look at that badge right above the giant Porsche logo. Look at the badge, Singer. That's why it reminded me of one. That's because it is one. There we go. So this is probably going to perform like crazy. Let's just horse around with this a little bit. So for those of you unfamiliar, there are still kind of, you know, private tuning, coach building companies out there. And they make some really crazy cars sometimes. You have the Eagle E-Type Speedster. You have the Alfa Romeo Disco Volante. And for the Porsche enthusiasts, you have Singer. And what their job is to take retro Porsches like the one that you see before you and update them, modernize them, to modern standards. You give them better engines, better suspension, but you're trying to preserve the old feeling, the old sensations of driving a classic Porsche 911. The idea is to get rid of things like the electric steering, to give people more feedback and make it feel like they're more attached to the road, more attached to the car. And because I'm not a Porsche guy, I've unfortunately never driven a Porsche 911, I couldn't sit here and claim to tell you the difference. I have gone through cars that have power steering, don't have power steering, have electric steering, have hydraulic steering, and there's a difference in feeling to be certain, but unless you've been the type of guy or gal who's owned the same type of car through different generations or multiple different makes and models, it's really hard to nail down the specifics of it and really describe in depth the feeling between the different cars that you have here. So, what kind of impression am I getting in game here? Well, the Signor's definitely a lot more squirrely than the other Porsches I've dealt with, and that's because of the amount of power you have in this car. Whoa! Now, it is set up for modern standards. You saw, I'm sure, inside the car, through the rear windshield, the roll cage. You saw the Recaro Racing seats through the front windshield when I first picked this. I know this is going to have a more
Drift
modern...
zones. Hook it in, flick the back end out, ride the handbrake all the way through the flags. This is what I live for.
Yeah, I'm not much of a drifter there. This is why I'm not much of a drifter.
Arrived at your destination.
Because I don't have enough control in here. I'm a racer, not a drifter. The handling is very sharp. Although it's squirrely, it's very sharp, very responsive, does exactly what I ask it to do immediately, or at least it tries its best anyway. The Porsche 911s, the newer models, even the newer Cayman, some of my earlier Forza videos, you may remember me driving those. The cars feel like playing the game on easy mode. That's not the sensation I'm getting from the Singer, and, you know, maybe I would agree if I drove more of the older Porsches. You know what's a harder Porsche to drive when you're talking about those higher speeds? A harder Porsche to drive is the Carrera GT. That's a brilliant car, and it's a fun car to drive, but it's harder. It's not easy mode by any stretch of the imagination. And I really don't think the Singer is easy mode either by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely it's a fun car. It's a great feeling it's giving me while I drive it. Beautiful to look at, beautiful sound. I have to mess around a little bit more with this in the future. What I want to do is I want to go back to the festival playlist real quick here and see what else I can do here. So you got the monthly rivals. Let's see here. Honestly, don't even know if I want the... I mean, I don't want the Carmen Ghia, really, from, like, honestly, I'm probably not going to drive this thing ever again. But I guess I probably should get it just to have the car in my collection.
Turn around when it is safe to do so.
Change car. I think I'm going to do that. I will have to mess around with that more in the future. I like that we got the Audi, so I have two of them for some reason. This is just one of them on a wheel span. I know one of them was a barn find. I remember that. Ugh, X6M. I do not want that car. Got the Chiron already. What else? Terrible Buicks. The C8. One of those. Upgraded it. Daytona. I'll consider that. 488 Pista. GT. Beautiful car. GT40. Another beautiful car. Couple of different S2000s. The Napalm Nova. DBS. Yajira. Get some good Lamborghinis. I'm actually thinking of posting a video about the Sesto Elemento. Probably gonna have to get that up in the next day or so. Beautiful McLarens. You know what, while I'm here, why not? I'm going to take the P1. I don't remember if I upgraded the aero and tires in this thing the way that I should have. I think that's probably what I'm going to need to do if I haven't already. Look at how fast it bangs through the gears. What a wonderful sight, though, with that excellent sunset coming in. Speed is just ludicrous in this car. Pretty decent grip right there.
In 400 yards.
Yeah, this is sticking into that corner.
Turn left.
Brakes aren't too shabby
200
either.
yards. Turn right. Turn right. In 400 yards, turn right.
You know, speaking of the pandemic earlier, I do want to wish everybody out there a
Turn right.
very happy and healthy 2021 now that the new year is upon us. I do hope everybody's staying safe, staying in good shape, staying sickness-free. I encourage all of you guys out there to keep up the work that we did last year, keep up the social distancing, keep up the mask wearing, and keep on vaccinating. It's important for everybody to get their regular shots like the flu, but also encouraging everybody to get their coronavirus vaccine when it becomes available to them. Remember that it's more than just about you. You're also protecting the other 320 some odd million people that you're living with in this country. And eventually, by proxy, the other 7 or so billion people living on this planet as a whole. Look at the raw speed this vehicle is producing. I saw 222 miles an hour there. But going back to what I was saying, in all seriousness, not political, I just want everybody to be healthy and happy. I want things to go back to the way they were just a year or so before. The globe was certainly far from perfect last year, but it was in better shape than what it is
You have arrived
now.
at your destination.
And I'd like
I've heard
things
a lot
to
of good
improve.
things about this autumn championship. Suppose I'll be hearing more now that I know you've signed up.
Gotta purchase a car again, so what do I gotta get now? What a great choice. I have a choice between a Jaguar XJS or a Jaguar XJS. Decisions. Well, I guess I will have to pick that. And how much is this thing going to cost me? Oh, good lord, you're not serious about putting a livery on this thing, are you? Why would you want something like that on this? It's a good livery for a racing car, but for this kind of a old 1990 Jag, nondescript, vanilla... Yeah, I guess I could do that. That's all right. That's respectable. I guess 25,000 credits. That's, I guess, about what this car is worth in mint condition. Maybe. This is not an iconic Jag that we're looking at here. This is not a XJR. It's, you know, not an XK8. It's not an XF. XJ220. Old car. Well, I guess I'll be pairing off against equally old, unexciting cars, so let's do it. Oh my goodness. What an uneventful start that was. Talk about lack of drama. This thing is a V12 in it. I shudder to think what kind of horsepower or lack thereof this thing is producing. Lord, the weight of this car just heaving me off of the track, even at such low speeds. Am I going to be able to win this with the expert drivers that I'm up against? Now, these are NPCs, but they are perfectly capable of kicking my ass. They've done it before, and this kind of performance, they definitely will do it again. This thing is just so bad. What an awful car this thing is. This reminds me a lot of the Hoonigan Chevy Bel Air, I think it was. That was just such an appalling heap of junk, that car, and this is feeling eerily similar. I mean, the handling and braking characteristics are different, but just how useless this thing is, bone stock, how heavy it is, how long it takes it to stop and go, this feels like it could have been in the same race. Still back in 6th place. I might have to start this race over. I really don't want to resort to that. I hope I can get up to 1st place before the next lap comes about. Alright. Barely squeaked by. I have to try to hold the lead, and that's if I can even hold this car on the road. You know, I wish I had the typical Forza music going for you guys. Any of you guys who played this game as fans. I'm not the biggest electronic music guy, by any stretch of the imagination. I'm actually wearing a death metal t-shirt, and by that I don't mean I'm wearing something like, you know, Dimebag gear or whatever. I'm sure you'll argue with me that it's black metal or whatever. I'm actually wearing a shirt that says death metal on it. But, although I'm more of a metal guy or rap guy in some circumstances, the music fits this game. When you first saw the reveal trailer of this game, or if you were like me and you didn't see the reveal trailer and you just bought this game going in completely blind and you started the game up for the first time, that intro was just such a punch in the face, and the music was a large part of that. And I've played the music standalone in my actual car going to work or out on a casual drive, and it makes you speed. It makes you speed. Somehow I pulled that win out of my ass there. I don't know how that happened. A Toyota Corolla and an AMC Gremlin. And the Morgan 3-wheeler. That's my competition here. Talk about C-Class. I give this an F. This is an F-Class. These are awful, awful cars that I'm competing with here. And that I'm driving. Sorry, Jaguar. I know you do have a racing pedigree, a very genuine racing background. And I'm proud of you for that. Good on you for putting in all the hard work and making some really good, respectable, iconic cars, but this is not one of those cars that I find to be iconic, nor do I respect. It's an ugly sedan with a massive engine that handles like a boat and goes nowhere when you put your foot down. You want to give me an F-Type, or even if you want to go back to like the 90s and give me like a XK8 or XKR or something like that, then that's fine. Those are not the best cars you've ever produced either, but they are cool cars. And they do have some modicum of performance to them, even if the top speed is limited to 155. Those cars did much better with a V8 than this thing is doing with a V12. Gotta love that the British host of Top Gear love to razz the Americans for producing no power from these massive V8s that you saw in the 1970s, but you gotta look at the ridiculously oversized, over-consuming V12s and vehicles like these and saying, you know, what the hell are they thinking?
You've arrived at your destination.
Let's get this pile of crap back on the road and hopefully in another first place position. I can win the car that I don't want. Look at how slow that start is. Usually you get to like some wheel spin and you're off and running, and you're just not in this race. You just aren't. Beautiful location for a race start, though. Very scenic. No, 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 no. Come on. Come on. Oh, good lord. You know, I let off the gas. Line went blue instead of yellow. Figured I could get back on the throttle, take the corner. But no. And I gotta slam into the boulders whether I want to or not. Good thing those aren't real boulders. My car would have been stuck. You know, if you combine the really good-looking car models, the somewhat of an arcadey approach to driving, a little bit of comedy that's mixed in there, the music that really matches the spirit of the game. I'd said, you know, when I first started doing these streams for Forza Horizon 4, that if you were to add the police into this game, Microsoft would have a Need for Speed killer on their hand that would completely obliterate that franchise and wipe it off the map if they were to consistently crank games like that out. But, you know, the more I'm playing it, and the more I really thought about it, I'm realizing that, you know, that's not what this game is supposed to be about. This is, in a way, similar to, like, The Crew 2. That's not what this game is for. This game is supposed to be a celebration. That's what the festival's about. It's a celebration of speed. It's a celebration of the sensation of driving, going out there and having a ball. Not supposed to be really doing anything illegal with it. Now, I know they added in those night races. Maybe that would be a place for the police, you could argue, I guess. But, you know, the spirit of this game, it doesn't feel devious. You're feeling happy. It's supposed to be a feel-good game, and it is. You're celebrating the automobile. You're celebrating motorsport. And you're doing that with all kinds of different cars from all sorts of different manufacturers, makes, models, purposes. And even though there are definitely some cars in here that I hate, this being one of them, it is a perspective for those of you who did not grow up in the 1980s and 90s, what cars were like in the 1980s and 90s. If you've ever seen a really old Ford Escort, or a Sierra Cosworth, or an old Jag, or an old BMW or whatever, an old Audi, yeah, you're seeing them here. This is what they were like. This car seriously needs to get out of my way. Like, right now. Stop ramming me. I don't know what the thing is, but that is annoying the hell out of me. I try not to go into the wall, which is what this Jag likes to do as soon as I let off the brakes and try to accelerate again. Oh, they're right on my ass. Look at that. Why couldn't I have bought some of the other cars in there? You're really limiting me from buying a Toyota Corolla? Really gonna kneecap me that way? Pardon me. Sure, I'll like his skin. Why not? It's respectable and I think appropriate, considering the car that I'm driving.
In 400 yards, turn right.
Because again, Jaguar does have a racing pedigree as a company, but this particular car, when I look at this thing, or when I'm driving this thing in the game, I do not think racing pedigree. Those are not the words that come to mind first. Instead, words
You
that
have
come to
arrived at your
mind,
destination.
words that come to mind would be words like slow, ugly, uncontrollable, ridiculous, rip-off that I even had to pay for this. But, I think I'm just about done using this thing, and heavens willing, I may not have to touch this car ever again, so let's bang this out. So we get another XJS British Racing Green up ahead, a couple Morgans, several Morgans. Constantly put in that steering correction to try to keep this thing on the ground. Otherwise it'll just launch into a wall or fence and take off. It's just ludicrous that you start so far back too with a car this slow. It's so hard to make up the places. You really ought to be able to get an opportunity to place higher in the pole position here. So if I can heave this thing around a track in a decent amount of time, they ought to be able to give me a little bit better place in the pack so I have more of a fighting chance to get to the top and stay there. I can't even believe this thing is capable of doing 100 miles an hour with how slow and lumbering and heavy this car feels. Whoa! Yep, there we go. Right into the wall. And I'm back exactly where I started. I'm probably going to have to focus more on the race, unfortunately. Minimize my discussion here. See, it's trying to go right back into a wall again. And again. How the hell am I supposed to get this thing up to first place? Seriously. I started off in 8th place, finish line is up ahead, and I'm going to end in 8th place on the first lap. Bumping into each other and knocking ourselves all over the track. This thing is a behemoth and not in power terms. I don't think I'm going to win this one, guys. Couple of clean corners. I don't know how much of a difference it's making, to be honest with you. Trying to draft a little bit, see if I can get some clean air in front of me. Maximize my ability to pass. Get out of the way, will you please? Slipstreaming might have helped me a little bit up in 3rd place now, but I gotta get first if I want the Volkswagen that I don't want. I feel like I can take the Morgan, I just don't know if I can get up to where that 1st place car is, that pile of crap, whatever thing that is. Get out of the way, dude. Come on. Oh, it's another one of these. How the hell is that thing performing that well? It's got to be down to the AI. That thing is just as much of a piece of crap as this thing is, unless he's put any upgrades in it. I've never tried. I actually don't know if you can upgrade these things before the 3-race series that we do for these challenges. Oh no, yeah. I hate resorting to the rewind button, but I feel like I don't have any other choice with this stupid thing. Yeah, I'm not going to get this. I can't pass him. I think if I had one more lap, I could probably do it, but I'm not gonna beat him. Somehow my best lap is better than his. And I still unlocked it somehow. Alright. So for those of you who wondered why I did that race, even though I don't want the car, I did it because it's a hard-to-find car, and it's something for the collection. Here's what I know about the Volkswagen Karmann Ghia. The Volkswagen Karmann Ghia is the car that was driven to Lake Berryessa, where 2 poor kids were murdered, and one of them was nearly murdered by the Zodiac Killer. That's all I know about that car. Red flats. That's cherry on top. Couldn't have got the Ferrari above it. Red flats. That's all I know about the Volkswagen Karmann Ghia. I don't know of that car for being notable for anything else whatsoever. And I don't think a lot of people even know that, unless you know anything about the Zodiac Killer. But yep, I can remember Cecilia Shepard, and wish I could remember the gentleman's name he was with. I apologize for not remembering your name. I know he's still alive. But yep, they drove a Volkswagen Karmann Ghia to the lake before they got attacked by the Zodiac Killer. That's the only thing I know about that car, and probably ever will know about that car because I don't care about it. Awesome. I'm probably never going to see that car again, nor will I probably ever see the car I'm driving again. I don't want to see it ever again. It's a colossal pile of crap. I don't want to ever get behind the wheel of that one more time. You know, a car I will take from the 1960s. How about this? How about we take the Stingray 427? That is a beautiful car. I was using that not too long ago. That's how you should take off from a... Listen to that, too. That's how you ought to take off from the starting line. A little bit of wheel spin. Give you some drama, give you some excellent speed. Devilishly good looks, even though you can tell it's an older car. You can tell it's timeless. Alright, let's park this thing. Let's see what else we have on the playlist here. We're not going to do this stream too much longer. I can't find anything I want to do. I may just end up doing a couple of random races just for the hell of it. And Jaguar I-Pace. Do I really care about the stupid yellow biker outfit? I'm kind of thinking I don't care. I hate to say it. Kind of don't care. I may have to see about the season playground games just for the Renault Clio. Hopefully that's a Renault Clio Cup, not the normal one. I'll tell you what. We're gonna go find a race. We're gonna go find a race to do, something that I'm gonna enjoy. We're gonna do it with an exciting car, not a car that I dislike, not a car that's gonna piss me off with its poor performance or ugly looks. We're gonna find a car that I like. We're gonna take it on a ride that's enjoyable. We're gonna enjoy every second of it. Why not? Let's go to the C-Sprint that we have down here. But that's a long way away, so we're going to change cars one more time. We're going to change cars to something that's going to cover some ground. You know what? I didn't get to drive it a lot. I'm going to go back to the P1. Got to drive it, but not as much as I would like. So let's take the P1 down there. Let's cover some ground really quick.
In 400 yards, turn left.
By the way, as much as I complained about speed, I'm not saying every car that I drive needs to be McLaren P1 fast.
In 200 yards, turn sharp right.
But I'm telling you right now, good lord, what did you do? That wasn't even my fault. But I'm telling you right now, the little Hyundai Tiburon, the first car that I ever owned, that thing could have outperformed that horrible boat of a Jaguar during that race. Gotta hate when your nose itches while you're in the middle of driving someplace quickly. Just gotta suck it up and ignore it. Big praise to the McLaren's brakes and handling, keeping me on the road despite all my errors here.
Turn right.
Look at how fast this thing climbs to 200. This is just, pardon the pun, unreal. It was incredible speed.
In 400 yards, turn right.
240 miles an hour. That's getting up into Bugatti Veyron territory right there.
In 200 yards, turn left. Turn left.
I might have to mess with this thing more, because I love the Senna. Ever since I first messed with that car in this game, I've absolutely adored it. Actually, quite honestly, I was a big fan of the car visually when I first saw it unveiled. But as far as racing the thing, I loved that car from the first one to jump behind the wheel at the start of this game. But it doesn't have the top speed chops that this thing does when you fully upgrade it, so I might have to use the P1 some more. Looking at the top of the mini-map right now, you can see we're
yards, turn left.
coming up to just like a mile and a half away from our objective here. Down from 7.3 or 7.4 or whatever it was. This thing is just covering so much ground so fast. This is a force to be reckoned with. This is the supercar. The supercar standard. It's fast, it's beautiful, it's dangerous, and it's exciting. It's everything you would want in a perfect supercar. Alright. Custom events. There we are. Ferrari vs. McLaren face-off is tempting. British Racing is tempting. 2010's collection, okay. Forza favorites. I'm gonna go with Forza favorites. I don't know what this is gonna include, but we're doing Forza favorites right now. Let's do it. Let's keep the P1 going. I love the car so much, I'm gonna see if I can win this race with it. And maybe I'll switch to something else. I'll see if I can win this race, I'll see if I can do one more, and then we'll call that a stream. And I can go eat some chips and salsa. Let's see what we got here. Looks like an Audi R8, Ferrari 458, Ford GT. Oh, look at that Porsche take off. Centenario, looks like a Viper, NSX at the front, and another P1 by the looks of it. Pardon me, coming through. Be careful not to lose that back end. Love that name, Stored Sneeze 435. Looks like he just took over first place. Well earned, sir. Your name has earned you your first place position. And an NSX, no less. That's gotta be engine swapped. There's no way an original NSX would be competitive in this race. There we go. Surging into the lead. Try to hang on to it as I try to hang on to the road. A little bit of an unintentional slide there, followed by a second one. Hard on the brakes. This is crappy weather and at the same time beautiful weather. I don't like a wet track, but the visuals are just so good looking. I gotta kind of cut the game some slack here. Right there. Made it! Alright, that car performed really well. That was excellent. Centenario P1, Huracan, NSXR, 458, Audi R8, Ford GT, GT2 RS, Viper, Focus, Hoonigan Focus, and a Ford Ranger T6. Alright, happy to see the other McLaren in there, Centenario representing. Love that car as well. I won the race, so I gotta live up to my promise there, and I gotta see if I can pick one more car. I'd love to race one of the Lambos. I'd love to get my Centenario out or my Sesto Elemento out. I'd love both of those cars to death. But I'm going to have to find something else just because they just kind of look so similar. Plus, I've raced both of them a lot. Should probably find something else. The Vet's tempting. I saw that scrolling by. I don't know if I've actually tried the Jag concept. I might have to mess with that sometime. Why on earth would you have those wheels on an Aventador? That just looks so ugly. Stradale, beautiful car. The Lease GT1. McLaren's Mercedes. I'm gonna have to see what a CLK GTR costs sometimes. That's gonna be a... Ooh, MT900S, that's definitely supercar. GTR. The Wyra. I'd probably do something with that. Ooh, Carrera GT. I was talking about that earlier. Selena 7. Good possible choice. The Griffiths. Cerebra Speed 12. You know what? I don't know if I'm going to win with it. I have my doubts, but I'm really considering using this. I think I will try the Carrera GT. It's a beautiful car. One of a kind. They haven't really made anything quite like it. You could maybe argue the 918 is kind of a spiritual successor. But this just seems so unique. So I did the C sprint. What else can I do? Where's the metal sprint go through? How about the metals? We'll try that.
Around when it is safe to do so. In 100 yards, turn left.
I'm sure some of you know out there the not-so-fun fact that this is the car that Paul Walker died in, star of the Fast and Furious series. But I'm betting that a lot of you probably don't know that one of the chief reasons he crashed this car was because the tires on the vehicle were the original tires that came installed on the car from the factory. A lot of people tend to ignore various maintenance items on their cars, whether it's oil changes or tires or belts or,
Turn left.
You name it. You need to keep up with the maintenance on your car, and tires are easily one of the most important things for keeping you safe.
400 yards. Turn left.
They're what give you the grip, they're what help you stop, they're what help you put the traction down if you want to get going quicker. Tires matter.
Turn left.
And because the Carrera GT is such a rare car and such a classic car in a way, even though it's not all that old, it's not like a Chevy Nova, but it is a classic car, because it's so rare and because owners are going to just drive it so seldomly, this was a car that unfortunately had stock tires on it, and the original stock tires at that. And unfortunately that helped contribute to a really nasty, fatal crash. I really wish it hadn't happened. But the Carrera GT should be noted for being more than that. So this is a car that broke the mold away from the traditional 911 that you can see on that poster, as a matter of fact. I might make this. Why don't I make it a 2000s collection? How about that? This helped to kind of break the mold a little bit. A different kind of car from Porsche. This is not something... When this came out, I didn't expect to see this from Porsche. You could have put a different badge on this, and I would have thought that was a different car. Because when you see a 911, you know what it is. When you looked at this without the badges on it, you couldn't be 100% certain. But the fact that this is such a great performer, that was unmistakably Porsche. Oh, I missed that. That's totally on me. I'll go a little bit slower into the corner. It's tough because this is a squirrely car to begin with in this game. Can't speak to it in the real world, obviously, but a very squirrely car in this game, and you're doing this race in the rain, which does not help your handling either. Got brave through that stretch of road there. Oh, it's just so hard to hang on to this car. I don't know what that thing is, but man, is that fast. I hope I can pass him before the race is done. I gotta hold it. Wow. Close one. Very close one. What was that, a Lotus? 211. I like that. That's a nice car. That's a very nice car. Very fast. I'm surprised that Audi kept up with everything. I must have once again had an upgrade. I like that. That was a cool car. I might have to take a look at that and see what the cost is.
Me and Rebecca have been talking. We know how much you love road racing, so we thought we'd set this special event up just for you. Welcome to the Goliath.
Oh, I thank you. I'm going to have to take a look at that, but unfortunately, it's getting late. I don't even know what time it is. Probably sometime around 2 a.m. I don't even know. It's something I'm going to have to take a look at tomorrow. I'm definitely in the mood to do some more Forza streaming, so I'm going to call it here because of what time it is, but I plan on resuming this tomorrow or maybe Monday if not. We'll see what kind of time constraints I have. Those of you watching, I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you sticking with me. Support me in any way you can. Visit me here on the regular, twitch.tv/Unreal_Twitch. Visit my YouTube channel and check out all the content there, youtube.com/UnrealGaming. Donate to me, tip me, give me any kind of a tip. Brush my teeth twice a day, that's a tip too. Don't always follow that one. u.gamecaster.com/Unreal. Thank you so much once again for watching. Until next time, I'm Unreal. You just watched Stream with an Average Gamer. I'll be back soon. You guys take care.